and today we're going to be talking about parts of the brain. So we're going to be talking about all the individual tasks of the brain, why you have different parts of the brain, and what their individual roles are inside the brain. So first we're going to talk about the brain stem. The brain stem is connected to the spinal cord, and the rest of the body is for our survival responses, that fight or flight response, things like that. Then I'm gonna talk about here. This is the cerebellum, this little orangey part here. The cerebellum is where we have texture, the discrimination of time, how long it's been. You may be like, oh, I think it's been about 10 minutes, and actually has been 10 minutes. That's because of your cerebellum. It is also where our emotions reside, our emotional response to things around us. It is also where the subconscious mind lives. It is called the little brain for a reason, and where things that we don't consciously think about but are in the brain, things that are in our mind without our own knowledge, the subconscious lives inside the cerebellum. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about the other parts of the brain. This little green part right here, this is called the occipital lobe. This is where all of your vision resides. If you don't have the occipital lobe, you can't see. It's as simple as that. The occipital lobe helps with our vision and how the judgment of how far objects are, the 3D duration of objects, if you can turn an object visually. That's all the occipital lobe. With the occipital lobe, we have the temporal lobe, this blue part right here, and this is sound. This is where the distinction of language comes in, how you're able to understand different languages. The temporal lobe is also like if you hear someone's voice and you're able to recognize their voice without seeing their face, that is also the temporal lobe. Let me see. Combining the occipital and temporal lobes is where facial recognition comes in. But here, understanding voices and language is the temporal lobe. Vision is the occipital lobe. All right, now we're going to be talking about these two right here. This here is your parental lobe. That is how you are able to feel temperature or pain or pressure. And then right here is your frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, this is for your decision making, your critical thinking, and fun fact, the frontal lobe is not fully developed until you're at the age of 25. That is why teenagers who are experiencing hormones have a hard time making critical thinking decisions, because their frontal lobe is not fully developed until they're 25. Which is why they're not able to make critical thinking decisions, which is exactly what the frontal lobe is for. Okay, so I hope you have liked hearing and you learned a lot about the different parts of the brain.